Hey guys, Bloomer51 here. And last week, it was announced that all kids had to put locks on their lockers at school. Now, most kids don't do it. It is a rule, but most kids learn that you really don't need to follow the rule because it isn't enforced, like the other 50 rules that are enforced in my school. But, out of nowhere, 40 years after not caring who follows this rule, and my school decides to crack down on this hardcore, saying, quote, all students must put a lock on their locker or face the consequences agreed upon by the disciplinary board, but not even saying what the punishment is. Just the consequences agreed upon by the disciplinary board. Now, I can kind of understand why this rule is suddenly coming back. There are little crackheads, I'm not saying who, but there are, who will steal things from a locker, and the school really doesn't want that to happen. But mostly because of the timing, I think it's a scam. What I mean by this is, there is a line of 40, 50, probably more kids buying a lock for $5 each. There are so many kids there, mostly because 2 weeks into their freshman, or whenever they started going there, they learned that they really didn't need a lock, and they probably lost it somewhere, and they don't know where it is. So they're there buying a lock. So before the weekend started, I noticed this one kid's locker. Apparently the kid found a loophole to the rule, because it states that all students must have a lock on their locker. So this kid took his lock and taped it to the front of his locker. Pretty funny, actually. So anyway, Monday comes, the day we actually had to have the lock on our lockers, and the consequences agreed upon by the disciplinary board was that all the kids' lockers who didn't have locks on them were zip-tied shut. So the kids really couldn't get into them for their books or any of their supplies, and they were really pissed. So as you can see, a lot of the kids, including myself, really disapprove of this rule. I mean, the number of locks in the lockers went from about 25% to 95% in 5 days, not including the weekend. That should really say something to the disciplinary board about who absolutely hates this rule, but don't want to face the consequences agreed upon by the disciplinary board. So, if you hate this rule as a student, comment. If you like what I'm talking about, subscribe. It's not going to hurt you. And if you just had unprotected sex, you should probably go get yourself tested. Bloomer51 out. And I want to give a happy birthday shout out to Andy Warner. I'm sure he hates his rule just as much as everybody else.